So yes, guys, if you're watching this on the YouTube, yeah, yet again, if you actually will be able to post it on YouTube, Austeris here with Grim Dawn patch 1.2, still a beta patch, so not all the patch notes were implemented in this, but we have here the Warlock build, the Arcanist+Occultist, and Callidor Tempest fire build. So build itself rotate about Callidor Tempest doing fire damage. We reach like 103 k DPS with this build, have a decent defensive ability, decent survivability in terms of health, in terms of resistances, and 45k damage per hit with my Callidor Tempest. Like you see, it's mostly fire damage. So how it's work against normal monsters, you just freeze them with a flash freeze, that's reducing the fire resistances, minus 108 here, and then you're doing maximum damage with the Callidor Tempest. There's also we have elemental storm meat, so 32 flat reduction to elemental resistances for enemies, and we also have curse of frailty, minus fire resistances, eldritch fire, and minus minus elemental resistance on vulnerability. So that's my skill set. We're gonna talk about skill set. We're gonna talk about gear. We're gonna talk about devotion. It's supposed to be the build who exceed in damage and defense. Alright, but well, it was, like I say, it was fun to play during. It didn't have much of a problem with normal content, but we did try the Celestials, and I can't consistently kill Celestials. In fact, we got the best we got is a Ravager to half of his health, while kiting him all over the place for like what, 15 minutes, if not more, and then like one mistake, player mistake maybe, and he just killed me one shot at yesterday, and we just done the same stuff, died on half of Ravager health here as well. So despite every defensive ability, defensive option we have here, the build still wasn't enough against Celestials. Like I say, the main skill is a flash freeze. Callidor Tempest with a flash freeze, reducing enemy fire resistance. Obviously, if flash freeze can freeze enemy, which has happened with a bunch of bosses, some elites, we're not getting this minus fire resistance, but we're getting it from vulnerability in that case, minus fire elemental resistance, and eldritch fire, and like I say, we had elemental storm from Constellation here. So there's a mirror, there is a mirror point, through second vulnerability, another crucial skill here. We have a Iskander elemental exchange almost max out, alright, for all this offensive ability, for all of this elemental damage, which is Callidor Tempest using main hand weapon damage, right? So all of this plus elemental damage from Iskander elemental exchange, it's actually influenced the Callidor and Tempest damage, alright? We have a reckless power here for a little bit of more fire damage, Inferno for burning damage, damage every time. My defensive abilities, defense kinda supplemented also by damage absorption from Amivis Sphere of Protection, 28%, but 28% wasn't that big enough, apparently. Yes, we have Inner Focus, more Spirit, which is translated directly into damage and more offensive ability. Arcane Wheel here happens from time to time, 1 point nullification, 1 point in mind accuracy, and Fabric of Reality. Nullification did play its role later in the game quite a bit, especially in the Celestial fights. Unfortunately, it wasn't like powerful enough. I had like 1 point here in Solar Switch Fire and Second Ride, but it's kinda useless since well, it's very little damage boost to my build. From Occultist, except from stats, we got a Blood of Drake. Alright, more offensive ability for me, and Aspect of the Guardian, which is some physical resistance for me. Alright, this build have a whooping 39% of physical resistance. We have a vulnerability, like I say, to reducing elemental resistances for those bosses who are not susceptible to be frozen. So that's about like how the build works. We also had a Blade Reader over here, a Rift over here, so reducing target defensive ability for a little bit. The build was critting quite a lot with Tempest. In fact, my highest damage. So yeah, you can see there it is. My physical resistance 39%. There's kind of like all the stats here, and yeah, the highest damage is 284k on this build. We did died quite a lot. This is the most like death build I ever had in a while, and a bunch of them were player mistakes, but a bunch of them also were unexpected situation happening. And maybe I died a couple of times at the beginning on normal difficulty due to not investing in my defensive skills whatsoever. So I thought I could like just run past it, and I didn't, and I just got wrecked. But yeah, this is about skills. Devotions. First 3 devotions was very easy for it. It was Candle, it was Quill, and I believe next after this it was Revival Crown, which just get elemental storm out of it. We also got for Crab for, like I say, this damage absorption thing. Crab, we got a Turtle for more damage absorption here. We got some Lion for more defensive abilities. Alright, some points into the Builder. Well, again, defenses. I was trying to get this 3200 defensive ability. I did. Didn't help me much in celestial fights. Still got wrecked quite badly. So the Viper reduction elemental resistances is only 20. This is only percentage reduction elemental resistances we have, so it's supposed to work by itself. The Jackal for a little bit of to get my Solus Witchblade here, I believe, or was it like for Griffin, for something. Magi didn't finish, the Griffin finished, and 1 point into Phoenix here for elemental damage. So like I say, in terms of DPS and damage overall, I was very satisfied about the build. In terms of able killing the Celestials, I'm not satisfied, and I deem it a fail. Armor rating 100% absorption. We have well, decent armor, I would say, more or less. So let's go to the gear. We have Legions of Arcane Currents here for elemental damage, a little bit of physical resistance 5%, a little bit of defensive abilities. The powder also matter, and we have Skullhade here for armor absorption. Alright, here we have Vanquisher armor for Mirror of Erectus. Well, basically a little bit of fire damage as well, a little bit of offensive ability, a little bit of physical resistance, and we have Titan Platinum here for more physique, and Bendigo Soul Powder for more vitality resistance. So all my resistances are kind of over a maximum here, more or less. Maybe vitality resistance should be a little bit better. That's the problem with the Ravager. Yeah, should be like a little bit more of a maximum. The crucial part of the build is the Cruiser Skull, which is enabling me to convert all of the damage in Callidor and Tempest just to fire damage. We got a good stats on it. Like you see, the Stalwart is like percentage to defensive ability. Flame Caller is more fire damage here. And a next part of the build is Ascendant Conduit, which is enabling, early on it's enabling you continuously cast, continuously keep normal monster in freezing state with a flash freeze, because it's reducing flash freeze duration recharge by 1 second. Okay, it's also giving you a little bit of damage, fire damage, and well, it's a good defensive stats to this particular one. We have a living ring. All of this, my rings and gems and medals have bloody crystal on it for defensive abilities and armor. Right, this is where we go in a bunch of armor from. The living ring for my Iskander elemental exchange. In fact, only 1 point short of maxed out hard captain elemental exchange here. And we have the mage with the appearance visage here as a helmet. This one my last ditch resort for you know, increasing my defensive stats. Also leaving armor on it for armor absorption, and we have solid blood binding for more defensive ability. Alright, +1 skill in Arcanist. There is Arcane Whispers, also skill in Arcanist, and like I said, bloody gems. On all of my rings and medals we have Forge Fire for elemental damage and defensive ability. This is so this is where the 3200 defensive ability came from. In fact, you see like a Mogodran have a little chance to hit me here, 87.9. Our stun resistance, so was the problem is Mogodran fight. So it could be better if I craft better belt here. We have a Death Griddle, it's a craftable belt, level 70 for +1 to all skill and Arcanist. Alright, giving me a lot of defensibility. For the medal we have Mark of the Arcane, it's a reputation item. Also in Iskander elemental exchange plus, and decent offensive defensive stats for it and damage. Have Fiend Flash Greaves against for Fiend Flash skill that giving me the damage absorption 1200 to everything. Alright. Molten Cinder Touch glows, more fire damage here. Some Callidor to Past, which has actually enabled me to max it out. Callidor to Past. Yeah, Callidor to Pass we had 26 out of 16 here. 26 out of 16. There is Ascendant shoulder parts for my Iskander elemental exchange. Right, there's Callidor to Pass over here. I just checking where if we have Callidor to Pass. Callidor to Pass on the ring here. I think this ring also was a reputation item, right? Reputation item, casting speed. So that's all items. Also, okay, the Iskander balance as my relic here. Iskander balance as my relic. I didn't go for level 94 relic because this one felt more appropriate for the build. And yeah, so that's like the secondary stats over here. We should like be more interested in my probably magic casting speed. It at some point it was 190%. We did drop a lot in the speed with trying to go more defensive abilities. Cooldown reduction plus 17% here, and fire damage modifier 180%. That's my main damage here. Pet bonuses, we don't care about it. So yeah, that's you have it. The build, like I said, was fun to play. Was dealing quite easy and fast with everything on the map. Cleaning mobs, cleaning elite very efficiently. A bunch of elites just gonna be frozen by your flash freeze, which is like shooting basically at 80% of your monitor, right? The radius of it. And it's freezing all the most of the elites, and you just finish them with elemental Callidor's Tempest after as a huge hits. It was a huge crits as well, and occasionally in some boss fights and elite fights that haven't been frozen, you use Curse of Reality. Like I said, very did enjoy the playing through, but still not enough to consistently face off against elite. Maybe there's some changes in build we can do, like put in more defensive ability, put in more going around playing with some powders, getting a belt for craft a belt here for more stun resistance, which you did have like belt with a better stun resistance. I accidentally sold it, but yeah. Also, versatility of a Callidor's Tempest skill, it did surprise me quite a bit. You can do basically all type of damage with this. Like you can go, for example, cold damage. What is this? Lightning damage here. There was a chaos damage as well. What is devastation? So bunch of a type of damage you could make your Callidor Tempest do. And it was very cool. It's very cool. But that's concluded our rambling about the build.